It was a day of celebration for Omoye and Chibuzo as it was their wedding day. The couple danced like never before and the crowd cheered them on as they showed their various dancing skills. Omoye particularly was a great dancer, and for the biggest day of her life, she let it all out, giving 100% on the dance floor. That one would think that she would Chibuzo and he agreed to marry her. But that wasn't really the case. Chibuzo loved and adored Omoye even more than she did, but they both loved each other regardless. The wedding guests sprayed money in the air, most of which was to show off. The couple received a lot of gifts from their guests. When the wedding reception was over, the couple were excited to see the content of their wedding gifts their various guests had gifted them. They sat in their living room, unraveling their gifts. They were very beautiful, thoughtful gifts ranging from blenders, plates, glass cups, microwave, gas cooker, refrigerator, and lots more. Each gift having a name on it with beautiful congratulatory messages, most of which had heartfelt written notes attached to each gift. The couple smiled as each words were special to them. Lying close to other gifts was a big frame with beautiful paper wrap. The couple were really anxious to unwrap it, but as they did, the couple were surprised to see the picture frame of a fiercely looking dog. It was a very strange gift. The picture had gold-like frames. The frame itself was really beautiful, but the picture in it was what they weren't really comfortable with. Why will anyone send a picture frame of a dog as a wedding gift? The gift did not have any name on it or a card to have a clue of who had sent it. The frame had gold-plated edges, but the picture in itself was strange. The dog was fiercely looking at them, gazing and piercing through them. It was a strange one indeed. The couple decided to keep the frame aside and think of what to do with it. Oh, I think I like the frame, the man said. After all, I guess the person who sent this know I'm a lover of dogs. I don't quite agree with you, Omoye Button. You know how much I hate dogs. I can't really stand them. And in minutes, the couple was almost having a fight concerning what to do with the gift frame they had received. Oh, okay, let's keep it in the empty room. We will think of what to do with it, Chibuzo said to Omoye. Omoye agreed without any form of further hesitation as they moved the frame to the empty room in their house. It was their wedding night and the couple were already exhausted from the activities of the day that both of them slept off. They had looked forward to their wedding night and had planned having several rounds of lovemaking, but then tiredness got better version of them that they slept like a log of wood. However, Omoye woke up with a loud scream from her sleep. She was sweating profusely, panting as though she had run a race. Her screaming was so loud that her husband had woken up feeling really frightened. What is the matter? Chibuzo asked with so much concern in his tone and gesture. I was being chased by a dog, a fierce looking one, in my dream. I ran so hard that I fell on the floor. The dog was about biting me when I woke up, Omoye said, looking really frightened. A dog? Chibuzo said, trying to understand what was going on. It was their wedding night, a day of their joy, and a dog chasing after his wife? It really sounded strange. His mind quickly went to the wedding frame of the dog they had been gifted. Ah, it must be it. That gift, Chibuzo said as he quickly stood up, went to the empty room they had kept it. He quickly went outside the house, holding the frame in his hands as he threw it in the trash. He went back inside the house as he joined his wife in bed. The next morning, when the couple woke up, they were shocked to find the frame back in their apartment. Chibuzo was thrown in a state of confusion. He was sure he had trashed the frame the previous night. Honey, I thought you threw the frame away. How did it get here? Omoye questioned with so much breath in her voice. I don't know either, Chibuzo said in so much shock. Okay, I know what to do this time. He took the picture frame outside. Chibuzo this time around did not pay it. He broke the picture frame of the fiercely looking dog into pieces as he trashed the remains. The couple felt at ease the next day when they realized the picture frame did not resurface in their home. But they kept wondering who must have given them such a picture frame for a wedding gift. But Chibuzo and Omoye could not get answers to their burning question as the gift did not come with any name or tag to it. Days turned into weeks, and Omoye's mind kept traveling back to the wedding gift, and soon she decided to forget about it and focus on her life. Chibuzo, who was a businessman, had been in the business world for well over 10 years. Chibuzo was well known for his success in importation of goods from various countries as well. He exported cocoa to other countries from Nigeria. So Chibuzo was able to make a lot of money, unlike men his age. He was only 32 years, and for him, he was more like a role model to so many young men who dreamt of being great in life. Before Chibuzo married Omoye, he was tagged one of the most eligible bachelor in town. A lot of ladies wanted him. Chibuzo, Omoye's husband, was the only son of her mother. He was the last child of 6 children. His mother had given birth to 5 girls before getting pregnant and giving birth to him. Chibuzo was a prayer answered for his mother, who had longed for a male child like most traditional African homes, where they believed male children were more important as they would carry on the name and legacy of the family. And so, Chibuzo and her mother were really close. They had a great bond that was admirable, and sometimes she seems overbearing. But Nne, Chibuzo's mother, could barely stay a week without seeing her only son. And now that Chibuzo was already married, she knew that she needed to give the couple some time, at least for a while. And so, when Chibuzo's and Omoye's wedding clocked exactly 1 month, Nne, Chibuzo's mother, came visiting unannounced. She wanted to give his beloved son a surprise visit. Chibuzo was at least surprised to see his mother after a long while, but Omoye, his wife, did not get it at all. Why will a mother-in-law come to their home unannounced without any prior notice? But Omoye had to pretend she was excited about her mother-in-law's visit, her surprise visit. When Nne saw Chibuzo, her son, the first thing she said was, "My son, how are you? But you don't look well, oh. You've reduced a bit. What happened now? Haven't you been eating?" Nne asked, looking at Chibuzo's face with so much concern and worry. Nne's words struck a wrong chord in Omoye's heart. She frowned her face as her mother-in-law spoke. What kind of talk is this now? Omoye thought to herself angrily, watching her mother-in-law talk about her husband in such a derogatory manner. "Mama, I am fine. Nothing is wrong with me. It's probably because you've not seen me for a long time," Chibuzo said, shoving her mother's words. However, Omoye made sure she took proper care of Nne, her mother-in-law, and made sure she was comfortable. The next day, as Omoye entered the kitchen to prepare dinner, she was shocked to see her mother-in-law already in the kitchen. "Mother, what are you doing?" Omoye asked. "Oh, I want to prepare my son's favorite food, and I am sure you're going to love it too," Nne said with a mixture of excitement and audacity. Omoye was short of words as her mother-in-law was already busy cooking. She watched Nne as she prepared the food. She was furious, but managed to speak up with a steady voice, hiding her real emotions. "But mother, we use a food timetable in this house, and your son, my husband, already know what he should be expecting for dinner. Omoye said, pointing to the food timetable hung on the wall of the kitchen. Nne turned to look at the full timetable on the wall and then let out a smile. Oh, okay, I see. But sometimes you have to tweak things a bit, a little, to spice up things. Life shouldn't be rigid after all. Can't you see that your husband has reduced ever since he married you? Just 1 month in marriage and your husband is already lost some weight. Instead of adding weight, what does that tell you? That you need to do more. Like now, you see the food I am making for your husband. It's his favorite food and from your roaster over there, I see you don't even cook this type for him. You really need to learn a lot of things Omoye was taken aback by her mother-in-law's words. She tried to speak up, but couldn't because if she did, the next word that would come out of her mouth wasn't going to be pleasant at all. Her eyes narrowed as she stared at her mother-in-law blankly. And when Nne was done speaking, Omoye excused herself from the kitchen. When she got into her room, Omoye paced round the room. How dare this woman come to my home to tell me how to treat my husband? Omoye couldn't wait for her mother-in-law to leave. And thankfully, after spending 1 week with them, Nne left. However, as the weeks turned into months, Nne would call Omoye to ask if she had gotten pregnant. Omoye's silence over the phone usually do all the talking, as Nne would immediately know that she wasn't finding her prying questions funny. But Nne wouldn't stop. It was though she was being paid to keep asking Omoye such questions to get under her skin. And soon, Omoye really became worried. It was already 1 year into her marriage, and Omoye hadn't even missed her period, not to talk of getting pregnant. Each month came with anxiety, as Omoye's monthly flow would always remind her how badly she needed to miss her period. Soon, Omoye's anxiety to have a child grew so much that whenever she saw her period, she would plunge into depression, wondering what the problem was. Though Chibuzo, her husband, was not perturbed, but Omoye's constant worry soon got to him, and so the couple sought for medical help. But after several visits at the hospital, the couple were assured that nothing was wrong with them. One day, as Chibuzo and Omoye sat in their living room, Nne barged into their home. Why haven't you been picking my calls? Nne shouted furiously, pointing at Omoye. Omoye stood up, looking at her mother-in-law. Yes, I am talking to you. Why haven't you been picking my calls? Nne echoed one more time. Mother, why are you harassing my wife? Chibuzo said, I am not. Ask her, why is she not picking my calls? I have been calling your wife, Chibuzo, and she refused to pick my calls for a long while now. Chibuzo looked at his wife. Is this true that you haven't been answering my mother's call? Omoye, looking at both of them, swallowed hard as she managed to speak up. All the time she calls me, she asks if I am pregnant every single time. I am tired of her continuous questions about me being pregnant. Oh, is it because of that you have not been picking my calls? I am only asking to know how I can be of help to you. It has been 3 years now since you have been married to my son, and you don't even deem it necessary to give him children. Nne turned to Chibuzo. I warned you, my son, you brought in this wood. As a wife, I told you this woman was not good for you, but you won't listen. You see yourself now. I don't care how you both want to do it but you must give me grandchildren. Or am I asking for too much? Nne said, staring at them. Chibuzo looked at his mother and said, Mother, I know you want the best for us, but you should know that it is God that gives children. Meet God now to give you people children. What is all of this now? I am tired of waiting for my grandchildren. Nne said as he left them. When Nne left that night, Omoye could not sleep. It was already 3 years into their marriage and no child to show for it. But Chibuzo would console her, telling her to be calm and stay positive, and that soon they would birth their own children in God's time. When it's the time going to be? This is already 3 years. I am already exhausted. Omoye would say to her husband. It was around the time that Omoye fell ill. At first, she thought it was ordinary malaria, not until she wasn't getting any better. She had to go for proper checkup. That was when it was discovered that she was 3 weeks pregnant. The couple could not contain their joy. The news swept all their memories of pain and long waiting. So I am going to be a father soon, Chibuzo said with so much excitement. Yes, honey, we are going to be parents. From that day, Chibuzo pampered his wife Omoye, making sure she did nothing in the house. He did all the chores and made sure his wife and the baby in her womb were doing fine. However, when Omoye's pregnancy was 3 months, trouble struck. Omoye had slept that night when all of a sudden a dog started chasing her in her dream. She ran as fast as her leg could carry her, but she fell down when she woke up screaming. She had just had a nightmare. Unfortunately, her husband wasn't around that day. She managed to stand up from the bed when she discovered that she was bleeding. Omoye called her husband on phone to tell him what was happening to her. Chibuzo, who had a very important business meeting that day, had to rush home to take Omoye to the hospital. That was when the doctor confirmed that Omoye had just had a miscarriage. Omoye's world shattered before her face. The news of her miscarriage broke her. She had longed to get pregnant, only to be pregnant and lose it. At the 3rd month, Omoye would cry non-stop, wondering why she had to go through such pain. Nne, Chibuzo's mother, became a regular visitor at their home. Each time she was around, Omoye wasn't comfortable because she was always too careful not to step on her mother-in-law's toes, because Nne would use any opportunity made available to remind her to bear children for his son. One day, Nne called Chibuzo to have a one-on-one conversation with him. My son, how long will you continue like this? Time is going, and your wife is yet to give you children. Everyone that got married at the same time as you guys have already given birth to children. Not just one, some even have two to three. While your wife is yet to even carry one child to give you a child. Nne said with a mixture of concern and worry. Mother, that is enough. Enough of this talk. Did I complain to you? Chibuzo said. My son, if you don't complain, I will complain on your behalf. Besides, you are my only son, and as such, I need you to have children so that we would continue our lineage. Mother, it is enough. If this is all you want to talk to me about, then just stop it right there. Oh, I see. It is like this your wife has bewitched you, that you are not even concerned or bothered to have your own children. Okay, if you don't care, me, I care. I need grandchildren. At this point, Nne was already raising her voice to the hearing of her daughter-in-law Omoye, who was already crying. Though Omoye wasn't inside the room, but she heard everything her mother-in-law was saying. It was as if she was raising her voice intentionally for her to hear what she was saying. Nne continued, After all, did I not warn you not to get married to this woman? But you refuse, saying, I love her. Now, has the love given you children? Nne fired at Chibuzo, who was already getting angry at his mother's words. And so, he walked out on her. So, you are walking out of me, eh? Nne shouted, already fuming in anger. However, after one whole year of Omoye's miscarriage, Omoye got pregnant again. The couple were happy, and Chibuzo was so excited that he informed Nne, his mother, of the good news. My wife is pregnant, he said over the phone with so much excitement. Nne danced round the house that day. She was happy that soon she was going to have grandchildren, but their joy was so short-lived When Omoye lost the pregnancy at exactly 3 months, she had that same dream of a dog chasing her, and then waking up, she had a miscarriage. The miscarriage sent Omoye into depression. Why will her joy always be short lived? Omoye thought to herself. But Chibuzo was very hopeful, believing that someday they would carry their own children. Chibuzo wasn't one who easily gave up. He was a very optimistic person, and seeing what his wife was going through really broke him. But he stayed strong for the both of them, always ensuring that Omoye was fine. As the years went by, Nne, Chibuzo's mother, started pressuring Chibuzo to get another wife since his current wife, Omoye, couldn't have any child for them. She couldn't even carry any child to term. But each time she did, Chibuzo would rebuke his mother, reminding her that his marriage to Omoye, his wife, was for better for worse. The pressure became so much that Omoye started pleading with her husband to get another wife if that would make him have his own children. But Chibuzo was not giving in to the pressure. My wife, why are you bowing to pressure? Chibuzo would say to her, discarding her advice because he knew that she was giving it out of pressure. One day, Chibuzo sat Omoye down to have a one-on-one conversation with her. Omoye, my wife, let me tell you something. There are a lot of children out there who don't even have parents at all. They are orphans and need help. Why pressure yourself when we can adopt a child for ourselves if having children is the problem? Chibuzo said calmly, I know, I have thought of it, but I am scared. Omoye said. Scared of what exactly? Chibuzo retorted. I am scared of your mother, that she wouldn't like it. Omoye said calmly. Are you married to my mother or me? This decision is ours to make, and we will stand by it if we decided to. And so, the couple decided to go for adoption. They did not mention any words to Une because, of course, they knew what her reaction would be. Chibuzo and Omoye adopted a beautiful baby girl. They named Precious. She meant a lot to them, hence, they named her so. The moment they brought Precious into their home, the atmosphere changed as the couple became really happy. Precious was a great charm. Her smile was heavenly, and her calm voice was like peace itself, echoing into their once lonely home. She brought so much joy to them, and for Chibuzo and Omoye, she was their priceless jewel. When Nne found out what they had done, that they had adopted a child, she became even more furious. Chibuzo, how on earth will you bring a bastard child into your home? Nne said angrily, Mother, watch your words. Precious is my daughter, and legally so. I will not accommodate you using such words on my child or describing her in such a manner. Ah, I knew it. I knew it that you have been charmed by that evil woman, and I won't allow it happen. In fact, Chibuzo, I am going to get another wife for you. Whether you like it or not, you must father your own children, Chibuzo. Did you hear me? Nne said as he left their home that day. Precious was already 5 years old. She was growing so beautifully. She was loved by Chibuzo and Omoye, but she loved them as much as they do. And for Omoye, Precious, calling her mother, gave her all the comfort she needed. Each time Chibuzo returned from work, Precious would run to him, hugging him tightly, asking him, Father, how did your day go? With a smile and a soft voice. The couple were really happy for adopting and bringing in Precious into their home. They loved her dearly. However, Nne had a plan. Nne met with Amaka, the lady he had always wanted his son to marry. Before Chibuzo, his son, introduced Omoye as the woman he loved and wanted to marry, Amaka was Nne's first choice of a wife for his son. She was from their village and spoke her language, Unlike Omoye, who wasn't. Amaka, please, I want you to help my son. That woman he married is not good for him. She is barren and has refused to give my son children. Nne pleaded with Amaka. Ah, that your son that is very arrogant. You remember the way he threw me out of his house the day that I went to visit him before he married that woman. I don't even know what he saw in her. Look at me now, Nne. I am more beautiful than that his wife, oh, but he chose her over me. Amaka said arrogantly. Amaka, you know you have always been my choice for a daughter-in-law. Don't worry, my daughter. He does not have a choice. All I need you to do is to seduce him and get pregnant for him. Then, just leave the rest for me to handle. Nne said convincingly. Are you sure? Amaka asked. Maka, I am more than sure. I need this so much. I need grandchildren so badly. Nne assured Amaka. It was around that period that Omoye had drawn closer to God like never before. This time, she wasn't asking for a child, but just really wanted to be close to her Creator and serve Him. She would pray and always worship. Precious always loved the atmosphere whenever Omoye was in deep worship. She would even join Omoye in worshiping and praying. And gradually, the atmosphere of their home began to change. Omoye and her husband would always buy beautiful gifts for Precious. New clothes, shoes, toys, and Precious felt so loved and cherished. One day, as they sat in the sitting room watching the television, they had a knock at the door, and Omoye stood up to go check who was at the door. As Omoye opened the door, she found her mother-in-law and a lady who looked familiar. She had met that face at her mother-in-law's place before she even got married to her husband. Stranger at the door with her mother-in-law was Amaka, the lady her mother-in-law had always wanted her son Chibuzo to marry. She stood there trying to understand what she was doing in their home. And then Amaka leaned towards her and said, I have come to do what you cannot do. Amaka whispered as she walked into the sitting room. Precious was surprised to see a stranger entering into their home with so much audacity. Curious, Precious asked, Mommy, who is she? Amaka froze at the mention of the word mother. Omoye pretended as though she didn't hear Precious' question. But Precious innocently asked again, Mother, who is she? This time, Amaka could not believe what she was hearing. How dare you call her mother? Amaka screamed, closing her ears. Nne, who was standing with Amaka to give her some support, was shocked at Amaka's strange behavior. Amaka was screaming and shouting, and before they knew what was happening, Amaka started barking like a dog. At first, they were all frightened at Amaka's behavior, but Omoye started praying, binding and casting every evil spirit, and Amaka started shouting, I will confess, I will confess. Amaka screamed, I am the one who gave you the dog frame on your wedding day. I was angry. I was angry that Chibuzo chose you over me. And so I gave you that frame. As long as you keep seeing those evil dogs in your dream, you will never be able to carry a pregnancy to term, nor have a child of your own, a child that will call you mother. But you see that girl? You see that little girl? She broke the spell the moment she called you mother to my hearing. Amaka said, screaming. Nne was shocked and dumbfounded. She had always liked Amaka for her son, but she didn't know Amaka was capable of doing such evil. Ah, Amaka, you are evil, Nne said angrily. I am sorry, Amaka pleaded. Chibuzo sat on the couch, watching the whole drama playing out in front of him. I am sorry, Nne, Amaka pleaded the more. Get out of my son's house, you evil and wicked girl. To think I was about to make the biggest mistake of my life. Nne shouted at Amaka angrily. Nne chased Amaka away from the house, even to the street of the building. Omoye broke down in tears. So Amaka was behind that wedding gift, that nightmare. She thought to herself as Precious hugged her, cleaning her tears. Mother, I love you. Why are you crying? Precious said to her. I love you too with all my heart, my baby. When they returned inside, Chibuzo was already furious. You see what your decision almost cost my family, Chibuzo said furiously. My son, I didn't know she was evil. She really looked innocent. Ine could not stand sleeping in the house as her conscience was fighting her really hard. She went back to the village. Omoye became really fervent spiritually, and after 6 months, Omoye conceived, and this time the pregnancy stayed up to term. She delivered a bouncing baby boy, and Precious was the happiest as she has always wanted a baby brother. Chibuzo's joy knew no bounds as they welcomed a new member to their family. Though Precious was still young, she was always excited with helping around to take care of her baby brother, which always gladdens Omoye's heart. Thank you for watching. I hope you learned some moral lessons from this story. Tell us in the comment section the valuable lessons you have learned in the comment section. Like this video please and kindly share out this video to your loved ones. Subscribe to this channel if you're not already subscribed. Until I come your way again with another African story, for now, from me, African Tales by Omo, it is bye.